Well, good afternoon. This is another video from Aquaspumante, and this is to help those of you who want to try and recondition their soda siphons using our parts at home, or if you've got access to a small workshop. So what we've got here in front of us is a range of soda siphons from roughly the 1930s through to probably the mid-50s. So here we've got, this is a British Streamline in pretty good condition. It's been reconditioned by us. This is another UK Streamline in a slightly tattier condition, which has just come in. What we've got here is a Type D soda siphon, which is in the middle of being reconditioned. It's just here as an example. And we've got a US version of a Streamline, probably from around about 1940, 40-ish. May well have come over with the Americans at the tail end of the Second World War. So when you get one of these, if you buy one of these at a junk shop or car boot or a garage sale, something like that, you may think, oh well, let's see if I can get this working. Let's find out whether it works. So we've got one here. This one has actually been filled with water, and what we've done is we've replaced the original neck seal with one of our own, because the one that came with this was 40 years old and totally wrecked. We've also filled the body with water, so we just put that in, and this head has been checked, and it's got a very common fault in it, in that it will leak water. So let's give it a go, and then we can demonstrate what it is. So tighten it up, get a carbon dioxide capsule like that, and that's our favourite brand, and that's Liss. And because we know that's the same size and dimensions as the original carbon dioxide capsules as provided by Sparklets, and they fit and they work with all of the brands, all of the models from the Sparklets range, and a lot of other vintage and classic soda siphons from the period probably from around about 1920 through to late 80s certainly. So right, get your charger key, put the carbon dioxide capsule in, lift the little cover, put that on, gently screw it down until you feel some resistance, and you should hear, if I'm quiet, the gas going in. What you want to do, make sure it's well mixed. Right, so we're not seeing any superficial issues there. There's no leaks coming from the spout or from the area of the side handle or from under the head. We're not getting any leakage of gas here. What we have done is we've actually replaced the black rubber seal in there with a new one that we have remanufactured for us. And right, so the gas is nearly all gone in there, so we'll give it a last final shake. So superficially that looks as though it's all working okay. So now we will remove the key and the capsule, because because there's a non-return valve in here that prevents the gas and the water from going back out after you take the cap seal off. And this is present in all of the ones that are shown here and the later ones, but is not present in the glass type C. Oh, we're just starting to release that. And what are we getting? We're getting some water. Right, that's not unusual, because I was undoing it quite slowly. But what can happen is that there's a little non-return valve in here, and sometimes, well, very frequently, because there are some rubber seals in there, and those are now probably up to 90 years old, certainly 50 years old. They degrade and it can start to leak, and this one is leaking very slowly, very slowly. But other than that, it looks to be pretty good to go. So if you're seeing a gradual leakage of water out of this little pin in the centre there, especially on standing, that's because the non-return valve parts in there, the rubber seal is degraded and it needs to be replaced. The last time that these piercing pin assemblies were actually made was probably, certainly in the UK, in the late 80s. I'm not sure if they were made as long ago as that, sorry, as little ago as that, so they may have stopped these possibly in the 70s. Anyway, the main feature of these is a piercing pin, which is what you could see in the centre of there. Right in the centre, there's this piercing pin, and basically it's a hardened steel, heavy-duty hypodermic needle with a hole down the centre, which allows the carbon dioxide gas to flow through it when the end of the capsule is punctured by the point. Okay, and that is normally surrounded by like an elongated donut-shaped seal which fits around the neck, like that, and that holds the gas in and allows it all to flow down into the body of the siphon. Behind the piercing pin we would find a spring like this. Don't know whether you can see that. So it would have been mounted together like that, and that fits into a socket inside this, which is the valve cartridge assembly from a late model Streamline, just before the transition has been taken out, and that would have been mounted into a plastic head, and I've unscrewed it. So that would have gone in the centre, like that. This black rubber seal would have gone in on top of it, and it would have all been held in place by a little ring, threaded ring, which holds everything in. But we haven't got that here. So behind that, and this would be normally inside the head, what you've got is what superficially looks like a little screw, but in fact it's hollow down the centre, and it's got two cross-drilled holes just through there, and the path of the gas from the carbon dioxide would have gone down the centre of this screw and out through those holes. And normally when this pin is not being pushed down by the cartridge, this would have been lying against what is a sealing face, and I don't know whether you can see it in there. Let's see if we can. Right, can you see that? There's a little sealing face on the end, and this screw fits into there and rests against the sealing face. Now, cleverly designed into the screw. You may not be able to see it in there. There was originally, just under the head, there was a rubber seal built in. Hard rubber seal. Now, over time, that cracks, degrades, flakes away, etc. and frequently allows water to go back. And that's the first thing you'll see of it, is as this one here, we've just got a little bit of water collecting in there. Sometimes it's a lot worse, and literally the water, as soon as you take the carbon dioxide capsule off, starts bubbling out of there under the gas pressure. So this little screw, what we've done is, because it's so important for the operation of all of these types of siphons, and it's really difficult to actually get it to work at home, is that we have had a new one remanufactured specially for us, and that is a direct replacement for the original screw, and it just replaces that in the head. And as with the original one, this incorporates a rubber seal, and it's forced up against that sealing face and held in place by all the other parts on the other side, so it's just a direct replacement. Now we'll be selling this little sealing screw as a part, the spare part, to allow people to recondition their own soda siphon heads, and it will come with an original set of instructions, and this is an extract from them, and this is the part here circled in red that we'll be selling. And you can see from this diagram that it goes inside the head with the spring and the piercing pin itself, here called the pin valve, but it's actually just a piercing pin on the outside with all the other parts. So the part in red is what we will be selling. The reason why we haven't tried to recreate the spring and the pin is that seldom, if ever, do those get broken. It's very rare, very rare that those get broken. And the pin itself, if you're careful, can be resharpened using a very fine abrasive just to put a point back onto it. Modern cartridges, the diaphragm in the modern carbon dioxide cartridges is a lot thinner than the ones for the original Sparklets, and so using these, there isn't actually as much wear on the pins, and so it's okay for several hundred uses we've found. So what we've got here is this product, and that makes it possible to, along with combination with the seals and the neck seal and dip tube that we've also had remanufactured, makes it possible to bring all of these soda siphons back to life, at least repair these faults in the workshop, or if you've got a reasonably good set of tools at home, because basically all you need is a very narrow bladed screwdriver to fit in there, to go inside the head, and I can just quickly show you what we need to do. So what we've got here, another soda siphon, and this one, for this one and for many others, what you'll find is you need a screwdriver, and the screw is actually, I don't know whether you can see it there, down the bottom of that recess in the top, in the head, and it just needs to be unscrewed. And these will be sent out with an original set of instructions which gave you their way of actually disassembling this and replacing everything, so that you can get it working again. In practice, it's possible you may need to hold the piercing pin in place, and we can offer a special type of screwdriver to actually do that, so that you don't damage any of the parts. And that's what we use when we're doing this. Okay. Right, so that's the end of this video. All we've done is really to introduce you to this replacement spare part. I know it looks small, but it is very important to the operation of your soda siphon. We'll be putting some diagrams and still pictures at the end of this video to help people at home to actually install these parts in their soda siphons, should they wish to do so. Alternatively, they can send us either just the head or the entire soda siphon, and we can repair, replace, etc., whatever needs to be done in there, and then send them back a fully working soda siphon. Thanks very much for listening. Cheerio.